So I think the whole theory behind this idea, this video, is kind of like, how can you take something small and then kind of stretch it out and build ideas on top of that kind of work with what you started already and don't get in the way once you start adding new things to it. And there's so many aspects towards how you can do that effectively, especially under a time limit. It's crazy. So I found this sound in my pack, Sounds Gone Rogue. It's in the link in the description, check it out, check it out. So I went for a MIDI chord progression actually because I didn't want to use a loop. I kind of wanted to choose my own sound for this one. It's just enough where you can imprint your own style onto the progression without it sounding like a loop that anyone could use and everyone is gonna use if it sounds like a really good loop. So it's already got this very islandy dancehall kind of vibe to it. And because of that, I'm not gonna make dancehall. I'm gonna take it in another direction and see what happens. I'm gonna kind of make this match my chord progression. There. In order for me to try and make something that sounds very forward-thinking and futuristic, I'm actually going to use something that sounds really old and retro. I'm talking about those big boys where you have the patch cables, looking like something out of a 1960s sci-fi film. A to E is 7, 6, 5. Once you got your first sample, loop, MIDI progression, melody, you want to make sure everything you add to it matches the same key. The reason I'm able to do it kind of quickly and match things together is because I have a good base of music theory. And I know there's this kind of argument about whether music theory is necessary or not, but I think if you have the time to learn it, you definitely should, because it makes everything so much quicker. So we need the chords in this sample to match the speed that the chords in my MIDI progression is changing. They need to change chords at the same time. Another tip I'd say is don't choose samples that have the same role as the first loop or sample that you're already using. So in this case, this is providing both the chord progression and the melody. So every sound after this that I'm looking for, I don't really need another strong melody or a different chord progression. So every sound that I chose kind of brought something different. The sound that you hear in the intro is kind of based around this texture. I chopped it up and made it follow a similar chord progression, but that's just so that you know it belongs to the same song. I also wanted to kind of mix emo and punk rock in there. Don't ask me how I'm gonna do this. We've only got about 35 minutes left. Let's find a sound for this. And similar to that point of making sure things match and fit together when you pick them out from different places, is don't choose samples that occupy too much of the same frequency spectrum as the first sound you used. So the chord progression I have on that synth sound is kind of very mid and high mids. Anything else I add on top that's for the melody or the rhythm, I'm trying to make it probably sit on top or underneath. Or if it does sit in that same frequency range, I want them to have a very distinctive sound that contrasts. How much voices is that? I don't know, but I like the way it's messed up and it can't play every voice. Voices, only 2. Let's try this. Sounds so much better when there's less voices. I hear Latin vibes. How do I get there quickly? Drums. All of these Latin grooves are named after particular instruments or styles of Latin music, and I've got no idea what they are. So, but I like the temperature, the heat, the fire, the passion, the spice. Yes. Here and here and here and here. How do I get the balance right? When you're writing in a way that kind of has you putting different genres and different cultures together, it takes a while for you to find out how to glue them together. Also, if you're writing in a way that different sections pull you towards a different genre or culture, you need to find a way to blend them together. And that took me years to do. But one easy thing that you can do is either keep the drum pattern the same and change the chords and the melody, or keep the chords and melody the same and change the drum pattern. If you change too much, it sounds like a completely different song. So in the break, I don't think we can really pull this off at some point. Maybe. As in, making those sections make sense. Ah, we can do this. Yeah, speed. Okay. Ah! So like that castanet, you only need one of them in the right place. You only need one, and if it's in the right place, it can add more value than if you had 100 castanets. This is mad. Last half. Is it Afrobeats? Is it deep house? Is it Latin? What is it? It's probably not the right clap, but what am I really gonna do right now? When you're in that creative stage, don't focus on the technical aspects too much. Some of the greatest mix engineers don't even write the songs they're mixing, and some of the best songwriters and producers don't actually mix their own songs. But even if you're gonna end up doing both jobs, you need to kind of separate them and say, right now we're focusing on the songwriting, then we're focusing on the producing stage, and then we're focusing on the mixing. Obviously, if there's a little tweak you want to do quickly, you can do that. It doesn't take much time, like a quick EQ, quick compression. But if it's something I know that's really going to change the sound drastically, and I have to get the right settings, I'm leaving that. All right, I'm going to effects. I'm just going to move. I don't know, maybe. It's not exactly what I was looking for, but you just keep it just in case, you know? It's modular like I wanted. Two and a half minutes. Just like one thing missing, the glue that's gonna put it all together. Some here. There's just too much, so it needs to just be refined. But that's what it's about. It's getting the biggest, fattest energy you can. Just give it as much as you can, and later you can refine, you know? This is gonna do everything. Just a splash of new texture in the right place. In a similar way to the point about mixing, when you're producing, you don't really wanna hold back and limit yourself to what you're making in the moment. In the creative stage, feel free to just throw that paint all over the canvas. And later on, we can focus about refining it and getting it to translate to the right audience and how does it communicate with people and stuff like that. I think this stage is the most fun and you can see it on camera. If I was to do a tutorial about how to mix something I've already made, you might learn a few things, but it's not gonna be as fun as this. And as my job is to inspire you, new producers or advanced producers, whatever level you're at, this is the stage I wanna capture that inspires you to want to make music yourself. When I grew up watching producers make music on YouTube, any small videos I could find, they weren't really mixing the song. They were in the session with an artist or they were on the instruments recording. It was that creative process that made me want to think, yo, if I feel inspired like this, hopefully I can do the same for other people. If you want more inspiration for making your own music, make sure to click this playlist here. And if you're looking for some samples that slap, check out the link in my description. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.